Hello and welcome to yet another session of Probench How To series. In one of my past videos, I covered how to add participant logins in Probench, and this is kind of continuation or part two of the same video. And In this video, I'm specifically going to cover the FAQs that we normally have from our clients. So hopefully this would answer a few of the questions. Uh, so let me start with the first FAQ here. So, first thing is, what is the difference between an administrator user and the logins user? So, the administrator user is basically uh, a user like you who are managers of Probench or from our client's end, and they would have all the rights and access to access all the data to configure the system and setting up the system. Create data sets, create feedback reports, etc. So those are the administrator users. Now, when we say logins, so these logins are not the manager logins, but they are the logins or the users of a company or a participant. They are called as logins in Probench terms. Okay, so whenever a user registers to the system using company code or is associated with a particular company, then they are called as logins when it comes to Probench. So the difference is, like, if you go to user management, you will see one is the administrators and one is logins. So if you want to add managers or administrators who would have some kind of an administrator right, you have to visit the administrators page. But if you want to add a company user directly without the registration process, then this is the screen to look for. So that's the reason they are called as logins. Uh, the next is, what if the user does not receive email on forgot password, and how can I share the password? So in one of like in the previous video, I shared answer to this particular question. So if suppose the user has used forgot password and they did not receive any password or email, or it went into spam, or it was blocked due to any reasons, then what you can do is you can search for that user like I'm doing now, saying hello at 73bit.com. Probably that's the email address, so you can search it using the email address. And When I click on edit, I will see a field called as forgotten password key, and I'll see a key here. So you can just directly share this key with them. Okay, and this would be like a temporary password for them, and they can use their email address as a username and this key as the password if they have forgotten their password. And they can continue using this key till they kind of change their password or anything, or remember their password. So once they log in, they'll anyways have a change password link for them, and they can change their password. So for the old password, they can use this key again as their old password when they change their password. Okay. Then next question is, can the same users be assigned to multiple participants? And The answer to that is yes, they can. It's about like you'll have to activate one of the uh, functionalities in Probench, where a single user can be assigned to multiple companies. So, like, let me get it to the management feature, and here you will see uh, a feature toggle called as associate with multiple companies. So if you have not used this before and you are using it for the first time, then you'll have to it would be disabled by default, then you'll have to enable. So as soon as you enable this particular feature in Probench, what happens is when you go to user management and logins, uh, each login user will see this additional icon. along with edit icon. So when you go to this particular or when you click on that icon, you will be taken to a screen where you would be having a list of uh, the complete list of participants or companies that are there in the system, and then you can click on the companies or the additional companies you want that particular user to be assigned to, and after selecting you click on save changes. Okay, so this means that whenever that user logs into the system, that user will have an option uh, w- like which company they want to get into and respond for. So that is definitely possible. So I will create a separate detailed video about this functionality, but just to answer it in short, yes, that is possible. The next is how to deactivate the user. So again, like if you want to say deactivate hello at 73bit.com, I'll just click on edit to that user. Or if you don't have in your first screen, what you can do is you can search for it, click on search and then edit. And then currently this account is active, so it's showing in green and this is ticked. So if I want to deactivate, I can click untick that particular box and click on update. So this would basically turn this text to this account is suspended. Okay, so this is how you would be able to use or sorry, activate or deactivate a user. So once the user is deactivated, they would not be able to log in into the system. Okay, so I'll just activate it again. uh, the next is user does not remember her credentials, what should be done? So if the user does not remember their credentials, you have to guide them to use the forgot password uh, screen or the forgot password link on the sign in page. Okay, so there is a lost your password, or for some of you it would be uh, forgot password link, and when you click on that link, they will be asked for an email address. They have to use their email address and then send email. So that would send an email like I shared in my previous video. Like they'll get something like this with a temporary password here. uh, so they can use this temporary password to log in. Okay, so the next is how to check the logs of the user. So is again a very important question, like how to know what logs to be used. So there is one way to see the logs is at the bottom. So you will see when it was created, when it was last logged in, when the users confirmed, when the password was requested, etc. So all these are there. But if you want to see it in bulk, you when you go to the home page, you click on this CSV on the top. Okay, so this CSV would get all the information uh, like like this one. So you'll have various columns. So you will have the email addresses, then they are active, deactivate, whether they are activate or not, they are created on, confirmed on dates. Then you'll also have like which companies they are associated with, what was their last login date, and all the other dates, what is the password attempt number, and all those things. Okay, so this is the way you would be able to see the logs of this user. Uh, it's at least like the login related logs, not the responses logs, etc. So the next question is how can I send an activation email to the user? Okay, so there are a couple of registration processes, or there is a registration process where the users would not be directly activated. You will have to manually go and activate them. And once you activate them, how would the user come to know whether they have been activated? So for the very purpose, there is a functionality in Probench which says send activation email. Okay, So what happens is whenever I click on like send activation email, and if this is also selected, okay, so it would not work if I have deselected it. And so if the user is in suspended mode, and if I click on send activation email, no emails would be sent. Okay, but if I kind of activate the user and then click on send activate, then I'll get an activation email, and it would say the activation email is sent to the login. And when I actually see, I'll get this activation email saying thank you for registering. Your registration is complete for 73 because I was assigned to the 73-bit company, and you may now sign in to XYZ. And this is how the whole thing works. So if you want to kind of change the text of the email, you can do that as well. That's the very next question, like how to change the content of the email activation. So what I'll do is I'll select this particular thing and show you how I can do that. So I have to go to setup and manage content. So this manage content is the place where all the emails are set up. So this is the email, the new participant associated email, and this is where uh, you can change the text. So these are the placeholders where they would be able to see their first name, or the system would replace their first name, last name, the company name, the survey URL, etc. You do not have to touch any of these placeholders, but you can work around the text around those placeholders. And once you modify it and you can click on update, your activation email would be changed. Okay, so that's how this works. You can, like, if you want to change the subject line, you can feel free to change the subject line from here. That's the headline. So whatever subject line I'm getting currently can be changed by changing this headline. Okay, that's the same for all the email addresses. Next is, why do I get warnings saying activation email was not sent? So let me take you to like what kind of warnings you normally receive. So this is our documentation. You can see the same information that I just mentioned over a video. You can see the same information in this documentation as well. But these are the two reasons why you get warning messages. So when you get a warning similar to the mentioned below, so activation email not sent to login, it is due to activation not enabled. So if you remember, just few moments back I mentioned that uh, when you go to logins, and if I go here, so if I deselect this and click on send activation email, I will get this warning message saying that it is due to activation not enabled. Okay, so you have not activated it, and that's the reason you are getting this email. So once I click there, I'll get the emails. Okay, so that is the reason of one of the warnings. The another reason for the warning, or another warning that can come up, is the activation email was not sent. It is due to login not associated with a participant. Okay, so as the message rightly mentions, that if I am not assigned to any of the participant, or I select nothing, okay, then I'll get this association. So whenever an activation email is sent, that user or login should at least be associated with one participant. So that's the reason the whole activation. So these are the couple of warnings that system give you. Uh, so all this information is also mentioned in our documentation. So feel free to. So yeah, so this is what are the normal FAQs that we have. Feel free to send us an email on support@73bit.com if you have any further questions on the login screens, and we'll be happy to add responses to them in our documentation as well. Like we can record another video for that. Thank you so much for being part of this video. Bye bye. Thank you. Have a great day.